you're moving to South Florida, there's a good chance you're looking at the wrong cities, and trust me, I've seen this happen way more times than you'd think. People spend hours researching online, they fall in love with the pretty photos, the beaches, the neighborhoods, and then a few months after moving here, they're like, yeah, this is not the lifestyle imagined. And honestly, I get it. South Florida looks the same on the surface, but every city has a completely different personality. If you don't know those differences, it's really easy to end up in a place that doesn't feel like you. So in this video, I'm breaking down 9 cities that actually deliver the lifestyle that people dream about when they picture South Florida. And the best part, every single one fits a very specific personality and vibe. Let me show you what I mean. We've got the walkable social beach town, the polished luxury waterfront all-around city, the urban meets beach lifestyle city, the space-driven new construction growth city, the laid-back luxury boater and golf coastal city, the up-and-coming coastal city with old Florida soul, the urban revival with walkability and momentum, the master plan family-first suburban city, and the true boater's paradise. And if you stick around until the end, I've got a sleeper city that almost nobody relocating here even knows about. And even a lot of locals have no idea that this pocket exists. It's a place with A-rated schools, affordable homes, newer construction, great value, tons of family-friendly neighborhoods, and a lifestyle that flies completely under the radar. If you want more space without giving up convenience, this is one you don't want to miss. And here's the thing, my team and I, we aren't just realtors, we're lifestyle matchmakers. Our whole job is to understand how you want to live and then match you with the city that actually fits your lifestyle. Because where you live shouldn't just look great online, it should feel right in real life. For all of the cities I'm about to cover, I've already created city guide videos on this YouTube channel, and I've linked every single one of these in the description below. So if you want deeper breakdowns, you can literally explore each city at your own pace. And real quick, my name is Jonathan Alexander. My team and I have helped more than 1,000 people move to, from, and around South Florida. We live this lifestyle every day, and we would love to help you do the same. If you enjoy videos like this, hit that subscribe button so you never miss new South Florida guides. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. If you want energy, this is where we start. Restaurants, bars, coffee shops, live music, and the beach all together. Something social, something fun, something that feels alive every day, not just on weekends. Delray is one of the only places in South Florida where you can realistically live a car-optional lifestyle. If you're coming from the Northeast and want that walk everywhere feel, this is as close as it gets. Delray Beach lets you wake up, walk to breakfast, bike to the beach, grab lunch on Atlantic Avenue, pop into an art gallery, and end the night with live music, all without touching your car. Atlantic Avenue, Pineapple Grove, cafes, nightlife, festivals, all packed into one walkable core. They even have free downtown transportation looping around. And the people here, active, health conscious, morning walks, beach workouts, yoga studios, smoothie spots everywhere. It's very much a move your body, live well kind of town. There's also real historic charm here, older homes, tree-lined streets, and that small beach town feel that gives Delray personality. And yes, the pineapples. Delray is known as a pineapple city, and you'll see them everywhere. It's part of the culture. Now here's what most people miss. Delray isn't just the east side. West Delray is booming. Newer construction, more space, family-friendly neighborhoods, and major growth around Delray Marketplace. And that's where a lot of celebrities live, including the newest Delray resident, Mark Wahlberg, along with other big names and pro athletes. Families love Delray too. Strong school options, especially out west, plus neighborhoods built for day-to-day life. So whether you want the walkable, historic beach town energy on the east side or the newer, spacious, family-friendly lifestyle out west, Delray gives you options. If I were to moving to South Florida and wanted energy, walkability, and real character, Delray Beach would be hard to beat. Now let's switch gears. If Delray is social, walkable, and a little scrappy in a fun way, City 2 is polished. This is for people who want things cleaner, quieter, more refined, less chaos, more order. Still South Florida, just more dialed in. Boca Raton is all about quality of life. Wide roads, manicured landscaping, master plan communities, everything feels clean, calm, and put together. It's often called New York's sixth borough. There's a massive Northeast influence here and a strong Jewish community, which honestly adds a lot to Boca's culture, food scene, schools, and sense of community. And if you're a fan of Seinfeld, yes, that Boca. Boca del Vista, not a real place, but the joke landed for a reason. Boca is also known as the Beverly Hills of Florida. Luxury homes, country clubs, gated communities, high-end high-end condos, and a big emphasis on safety, order, and comfort. A huge part of Boca's identity is the Boca Raton. It's iconic, historic, completely transformed over the last few years. Private beach club, golf, marina, restaurant, spa. It's basically a city within the city, and it sets the tone for Boca's luxury lifestyle. Now here's what surprises people. Boca used to have the reputation of this is where grandma retires, and to be fair, that Boca definitely existed, but today, Boca is younger, it's more vibrant, and way more active than old Boca ever was. You've got young families, professionals, entrepreneurs, and people moving here earlier in life, not just later. New restaurants, new developments, more energy layered on top of that established Boca foundation. And it's also one of the most family-oriented cities in South Florida. Top-rated public schools, excellent private schools, parks, sports leagues, community centers everywhere. And the people here are very active and health-focused. Golf, tennis, pickleball, boutique fitness, long neighborhood walks where everyone somehow looks put together at 7 a.m. Boca isn't as walkable as Delray overall, but you do have polished pockets like Meisner Park and downtown East Boca where dining and shopping and events are centralized. So if Delray feels freer and more spontaneous, Boca feels refined, established, and evolving. And if I were moving to South Florida and my top priorities were school, safety, luxury, and a city that's grown up without getting old, Boca Raton would absolutely be on my short list. All right, now let's loosen things up a bit. If Boca's polished, structured, and family first, City 3 is more open, more social, and way more coastal. This is where luxury meets fun, and the lifestyle starts revolving around the water. Fort Lauderdale is constantly compared to Miami, but living here is a very different experience. Here's the simplest way to explain it. If Miami is louder, flashier, and more intense, Fort Lauderdale is more relaxed, more livable, and way easier day to day. You still get beaches, you still get nightlife, you still get luxury condos, great restaurants, and waterfront living, just without the constant chaos. Fort Lauderdale is known as the Venice of America for a reason. Canals everywhere, intracoastal living, yachts pulling up to restaurants. This is a true boater's city. Boat days are just part of normal life. Everything kind of centers around Las Olas Boulevard, dining, bars, shopping, art, events, all flowing straight toward the water. And this city quietly attracts some serious names. Lionel Messi lives here, so does Patrick Bet-David. High-profile people who could live anywhere choose Fort Lauderdale because it offers luxury, privacy, and lifestyle without the Miami circus. The crowd here is younger, it's social and international. Entrepreneurs, boat owners, second home buyers, people who want fun and balance. Morning beach walks, afternoon boat days, evenings out on Las Olas or along the water. So if Miami feels like too much and Boca feels a little too structured, Fort Lauderdale sits right in the middle. If I were moving to South Florida and wanted a Miami style lifestyle that's easier to live with long term, Fort Lauderdale would absolutely be on my short list. Palm Beach Gardens is all about space, wider lots, tree-lined streets, planned communities, golf courses everywhere. This is where people move when they're done with density, but still want to be close to beaches, airports, and great dining. And because demand here has exploded, there's a huge amount of new construction happening. Communities like Avenir are a perfect example. Brand new homes, modern layouts, resort-style amenities, and neighborhoods designed specifically for today's families. People want Palm Beach Gardens for the schools and space and the lifestyle, and builders are racing to keep up. Gardens is especially popular with families, strong schools, quiet neighborhoods, parks, sports fields, and communities where kids actually play outside. It's also a major golf and country club hub. You have PGA National, private clubs, public courses. Golf is part of daily life here. The pace is calmer than Delray or Fort Lauderdale, less nightlife, less noise, more routine. People here are still very active and health focused. You have morning walks and biking and pickleball and gyms, just without the scene. It's not walkable in the city sense, but everything is easy. Shopping, schools, restaurants, highways, all laid out to make daily life simple. So if Delray is social, Boca is polished, Fort Lauderdale is coastal and energetic, Palm Beach Gardens is comfortable, spacious, and built for long-term living. And if I were moving to South Florida and wanted new construction, great schools, room to grow, and a calmer lifestyle, Palm Beach Gardens would absolutely be on my list. All right, now let's take everything we've talked about and turn the volume way down. If Palm Beach Gardens is spacious and suburban, City 5 is coastal, quiet, and nature first. This is for people who want South Florida without the crowds. Jupiter feels completely different from the rest of South Florida. Less density, less traffic, less noise, more nature, more space, more breathing room. This is a boater's paradise. Jupiter Inlet, intracoastal access, deep water, quick ocean runs. If boating matters to you, Jupiter is elite. It's also a serious golf destination. Private clubs, top-tier public courses, championship layouts tucked into natural settings. A lot of golfers choose Jupiter specifically because they can golf year-round without the crowds you see further south. Layer that with luxury coastal living, waterfront estates, private docks, gated communities, high-end homes that feel upscale without being flashy. The people here are active, outdoorsy, and low-key successful. Boat days, golf mornings, fishing, paddleboarding, sunrise beach walks. This is a daytime lifestyle city. Jupiter is also a huge win for families, great schools, safe neighborhoods, strong community feel. You'll find professional athletes, executives, and business owners here, people who could live anywhere but choose Jupiter for privacy, balance, and quality of life. It's not about nightlife or big city energy, it's about lifestyle. So if Delray is social and Boca is polished, Fort Lauderdale is energetic, Palm Beach Gardens is spacious, Jupiter is luxury, golf, boating, and laid-back coastal living. And if I were moving to South Florida and wanted boating, great golf, strong schools, and a high-end lifestyle without the chaos, Jupiter would absolutely be at the top of my list. All right, now let's talk about the city that people sleep on. If Jupiter is polished, quiet, and established, this next city is evolving, improvising, and full of upside. Pompano Beach has gone through a massive transformation over the last few years. The pier, the beach, the oceanfront, downtown, all completely reimagined. But here's what makes Pompano different. In certain pockets, it still feels like old Florida. Low-rise buildings, laid-back neighborhoods, people fishing, biking, cruising around instead of rushing everywhere. Now layer in what's happening next. The W Pompano Beach Hotel and Residences is going up right on the ocean. That alone tells you everything that you need to know. When a global luxury brand like the W shows up, that's serious money being injected into the city. It's confidence, it's validation, and it usually brings more development right behind it. That's why people are paying attention right now. You're still getting coastal living with value here, especially compared to Boca, Delray, or Fort Lauderdale beach areas, but the window is narrowing. Pompano is also very strong for boaters, intracoastal neighborhoods, dockage, easy ocean access, waterfront homes that are becoming harder to find at these price points anywhere else. The crowd here is a mix. You have first-time buyers, you got investors and locals, of course, people priced out of neighboring cities who still want beach proximity. It's definitely less polished than Boca, it's way less chaotic than Miami, and not as built out as Fort Lauderdale yet. And that yet matters. So if Delray is lifestyle and Boca is refinement, and with Fort Lauderdale you get energy and Palm Beach Gardens is more space, and Jupiter is luxury and nature, Pompano Beach is momentum, capital, and opportunity with old Florida charm still intact. So if I were moving to South Florida and wanted beach access, boating, upside, and a city clearly on the rise, Pompano Beach would absolutely be on my radar. All right, now let's talk about a city that has completely reinvented itself. If Pompano Beach is a comeback story, this next city is the glow up. This is where money, development, culture, and energy are all colliding at once. West Palm Beach today feels nothing like it did a decade ago. Downtown has exploded, luxury towers, you have office buildings and waterfront living, and a real urban core that actually feels alive. There's also a huge wave of new condos going up, high-rise luxury buildings, waterfront and intracoastal projects, downtown towers built for professionals, second home buyers, and people who want true city living. That kind of construction only happens when demand is real. West Palm has attracted serious money, financial firms, corporate headquarters, entrepreneurs, young professionals, a lot of people who wanted Palm Beach Island, but not Palm Beach Island prices, ended up right here. Now, here's the easiest way to understand West Palm. It feels a lot like Fort Lauderdale. It's urban, it's very walkable, very energetic, lots to do, but with less traffic, less congestion, and way less daily stress. You've got Clematis Street for nightlife and events, the waterfront for walking, biking, and sunsets, and emerging districts like the Nora district that's bringing restaurants, boutiques, and culture right into the mix. How can I say this? West Palm feels more urban and energetic than Boca or Palm Beach Gardens, but cleaner, calmer, and easier to live in day to day than Miami or Fort Lauderdale. The crowd here skews younger and professional, finance, tech, real estate, creative industries, and while it hasn't traditionally been known as a family city, you do have historic neighborhoods, solid schools in certain pockets, and a fast-growing residential base. West Palm Beach is Fort Lauderdale energy without Fort Lauderdale traffic. And if I were moving to South Florida and wanted an urban lifestyle, new construction, walkability, restaurants, energy, and momentum without sitting in traffic all day, West Palm Beach would absolutely be in the conversation. All right, now we're gonna slow way down. If West Palm Beach is urban, energetic, and vertical, this next city is quiet, suburban, and intentionally family first. This is for people who care less about nightlife and more about school, space, and peace of mind. Parkland is about as soccer mom suburban as it gets, and I say that in the best possible way. Minivans, SUVs, carpool lines, kids in cleats everywhere. This is one of the most family-focused cities in all of South Florida. You got master plan communities, you have wide streets and big homes and manicured neighborhoods that feel calm, safe, and predictable on purpose. People move to Parkland when schools are the priority. Strong public schools, good private options nearby, you have youth sports, parks, and community programs nonstop. There's no nightlife scene here. There's no beach crowds, no high rises, and if you're looking for bars and actions, this is definitely not your city. But if you want quiet nights, big backyards, and kids riding bikes in the neighborhood, this is exactly it. Homes in Parkland tend to be newer and larger, pools and 3-car garages, layouts built for modern family life. The lifestyle is active but very structured. Morning workouts, school drop-offs, practices in the afternoon, games on the weekends. It's not flashy, it's not trendy, and honestly, that's why families love it. Parkland is peak suburbia, minivans, schedules, and stability. And if I were moving to South Florida with kids and wanted great schools, newer homes, safety, and zero chaos, Parkland would absolutely be on my short list. All right, now let's flip the script again. If Parkland is peak suburbia, minivans, and schedules, this city coming up is private, it's coastal, and all about the water. This one flies a little bit under the radar, and that's exactly why the people here love it. Now, Lighthouse Point is a hidden gem. No downtown scene, no nightlife district, no tourist crowds, and that's the point. This is a boater's town through and through. Deep water canals, wide waterfront lots, private docks behind your house, easy access to the intercoastal and the ocean. If boating is part of your lifestyle, Lighthouse Point is elite. The city itself is small, quiet, and extremely well kept. Tree-lined streets, low traffic, a very strong sense of community. It attracts a very specific buyer, successful, low-key, privacy-focused, people who want luxury without attention. Homes here are mostly single family, many right on the water, and prices reflect the lifestyle. But compared to prices like Boca or Fort Lauderdale Waterfront, there's still relative value. It's also a great middle ground location. Minutes to Boca, minutes to Fort Lauderdale, close to beaches, dining, and major highways, but it feels tucked away. Lighthouse Point is quiet waterfront luxury, no noise, no scene, just lifestyle. And if I were moving to South Florida and wanted boating, privacy, and a true neighborhood feel instead of a city vibe, Lighthouse Point would absolutely be on my radar. All right, before we wrap this up, I have to include this one because almost nobody moving to South Florida even knows this area exists. And honestly, a lot of locals overlook it too. But if you want newer homes, great schools, more space, and a true suburban family feeling and better value while still being close to everything, this needs to be on your radar. Now let me clear something up real quick. This is not Lake Worth Beach, not the coastal area, not downtown Lake Worth. West Lake Worth is farther west and it's a completely different lifestyle. This is one of the most underrated pockets in all of Palm Beach County. It's quieter, it's newer, more residential, and packed with family-focused communities that give you way more value than Boca or Delray. You'll find a ton of newer construction, gated neighborhoods, community pools, parks, sports facilities, and A-rated schools without paying a coastal premium. It's also incredibly convenient, easy access to major highways, shopping, golf, parks, everyday errands are simple, but you're not paying extra just to be near the beach. People move here for one reason. They want more house for their money. Bigger homes, newer builds, great schools, family-friendly neighborhoods, and because it's not a tourist area and not a coastal hotspot, it stays quiet. It's very safe, local, and it just flies under the radar. So if you're moving to South Florida and you want space, value, strong schools, and a true suburban lifestyle without feeling isolated, West Lake Worth is a hidden gem. Now, obviously, this isn't every great place to live in South Florida. There are a ton of solid options, and depending on your lifestyle, a few of these might actually make more sense for you. For example, Weston is a big one. If you like Parkland, which has master plan, super safe, great schools, Weston gives you the same vibe, but just further south in Broward County, closer to Fort Lauderdale and Miami. Cooper City and Coral Springs are also worth a look. Both are very family-friendly, lots of parks and sport leagues and good schools. Just solid, no-drama places to raise a family. Wellington is a totally different lifestyle. If you got kids or you're into horses or equestrian living, this is one of the biggest equestrian hubs in the entire country. If you want something quieter and more refined, Highland Beach is perfect if you're looking for a luxury condo right on the sand without crowds, nightlife, or tourist chaos. On the opposite end of the spectrum, Sunny Isles gives you that high-rise beachfront, very international vibe. Condos, walkability, ocean views. It's very Miami adjacent without actually being Miami. And Hollywood is one to keep an eye on. It's got that laid-back coastal feel, and there's a lot of redevelopment happening, very similar to what we've been seeing in Pompano over the last few years. So depending on what you care about most, schools, space, walkability, luxury, or upside, one of these could easily be your city. All right, so those are the cities that actually deliver the South Florida lifestyle people move here for. And like I always say, choosing where to live here isn't just about beaches or palm trees. It really comes down to matching your lifestyle with the right city, neighborhood, and community, because what feels perfect for somebody who wants walkability and nightlife might be totally wrong for someone who wants boating, newer construction, or top-tier schools. Everyone has a different version of the Florida dream, and our job is to help you find your version. If you want to go deeper, I've already created full video guides for most of the cities in this breakdown. Those are going to be linked in the description below, along with a free relocation that'll help you compare the best areas and schools, lifestyle categories, waterfront options, and everything you need to make the move with confidence. And if you're serious about relocating, reach out anytime. My team and I have helped more than 1,000 families move to, from, and around South Florida, and we would love to help you do the same. Whether you just need some guidance or you're ready to start touring communities, we've got you covered. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want more breakdowns like this. And as always, I'm Jonathan. This is Live South Florida, and I'll see you in the next video.